my dear friends. Welcome to the Barnstorming with Jason Ringenberg Oostwood Holland edition. That's right, I'm near this tiny little Dutch village named Oostwood. I've been here for a couple of days, been riding my bike around North Holland here, visiting windmills and tulip fields and cool little bike lanes down old canals. This is really old country here, folks, no doubt about that. And in fact, a lot of this country wasn't even land. This was under the sea. A lot of where I'm standing was under the sea. The Dutch people in the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries made these dikes going out into the ocean and then pumped the water out and made these fields, which are called polders. Now, I feel very at home here. For one thing, the landscape looks a lot like where I grew up in western Bureau County. And just north of our farm, a lot of that land was once wetlands. It was drained and made into this deep, rich soil, much like we have right here in this part of Holland. Also, my mom's side of the family came from a place just south of here called Flanders. It's now Belgium. And the Flanders folks, they spoke a dialect of Dutch called Flemish. My mom's people came over to the United States, emigrated in the 1890s and settled in Bureau County. And my great-grandparents actually spoke Dutch in their house, spoke Flemish in their house. My grandmother could speak Flemish. Interestingly, she was most fluent speaking Flemish, cussing, using profanity in Flemish. My grandmother never used profanity except when she would be speaking Flemish. She sometimes would use some Flemish profanity. My Aunt Barb, she could make Belgian cookies. My mom would make Belgian dishes sometimes. It was the whole Belgian Flemish tradition was very, very important to me and a big part of our life, actually. So I just feel at home here in this part of the world, just the Low Countries of Belgium and the Netherlands. I love it here. It's fantastic. Now, when we were doing the Rhinestone record, I felt like we needed one more song. I just felt like there was just one song missing. So I called up my friend Artie Hill. I've co-written and collaborated a lot with Artie over the years. He wrote that great song on the last Scorchers record. The song "Beat on the Mountain." He co-wrote that with me. Co-wrote the first single on the Stand Tall record, "Looking Back Blues." He co-wrote that with me. So Artie has always been a go-to guy in all my projects for the last several years. So I called Artie up and he said, "Okay, let me go to town here and let me see what I can come up with." And we weren't able to do this face-to-face. It was during COVID. So he sent me a file of a song called "Love and War." And it was sort of a heartbreak song, kind of country leaning in the lyrics, not so much in the melody, but kind of country in the lyrics. And he had a couple verses, the basic melody, the basic chorus. I had quite a bit of it done. For some reason, when I heard it, I loved it. And when I heard it, I kept thinking, wow, we should set this in World War I time frame in Flanders. Don't know why I thought that, but I just thought that was a way to go. So I started monkeying around with the lyrics a little bit and changing some of the words, changed the title to Before Love and War instead of just Love and War. And then wrote another verse for it. Ran the idea Artie. He actually dug what I was doing and where I was going, so he helped out more. I think he came up with a bridge for it. And then we had a song and recorded it with the great George Bradfute and made the opening song for Rhinestone, a really important song to me. So I'm going to sing this song for you now. Shout it to my friend Nico Drujev. I don't know if I'm quite pronouncing that right, Nico, but Nico drove me around today, showed me this lovely countryside, the great old town of Northern Holland with all the old buildings from the 1500s. It was just fantastic. And seeing the old boats in the harbor, it was a wonderful experience. And of course, Nico got me to this wonderful tulip field. So anyway, here we go, folks. A song set in World War I Flanders, a place much like this place here, full of flowers, full of beauty and natural beauty and wonderful landscapes. They became the main battleground of World War I. Now this song you can interpret a lot of different ways. It could be about a German soldier, a French soldier, an American soldier, a Belgian, Flemish soldier. It could be an English soldier. It could be about a British soldier. It could be about any of those people, but it is set in World War I Flanders. So here we go, my dear friends. Before Love and War. All the way to you from Oostwood, North Holland. Before I do this song, Before Love and War, one more shout out. I'd like to thank Brad Williams from Little Rock, Arkansas for making yet again one more incredibly beautiful guitar strap for me. Isn't this fabulous? Wow. That's serious handiwork right there. So Brad, thanks to you, brother, and your guitar strap made it to a tulip field in North Holland. How about that? All right, folks. Before Love and War. Right here, very near the fields of Flanders. Blood red rose in the garden, a stranger's coat in the hall. Smell of smoke and a promise broken, the pride and then the fall. What came before love and war? No suspicion, no demands, a kind heart and an open hand. No more, no peace, no release, love and war. Before love and war. Obsidian nights for the hiding, things you didn't want me to see. Like a wild horse you were riding through my sadness into the sea. What came before love and war? No suspicion, no demands, a kind heart and an open hand. No more, no peace, no release, love and war. Before love and war. Before love and war. Before love and war. St. Lawrence in the evening, a boat out on the canal. Fires burning against the sky, your perfume cover it all. The captain blows his whistle, the Flanders wind floats free. Over the top, the sergeant yells while your ghost is following me. What came before love and war? No suspicion, no demands, a kind heart and an open hand. No more, no peace, no release, love and war. Before love and war. Before love and war. Before from the tulip fields of North Holland. All the best to you. God bless. See you down the old Lost Highway.